Before Michael Bay created cinema's most explosive asteroid disaster, Armageddon was dismissed as scientifically impossible by critics who couldn't grasp its emotional core. The cast has finally revealed secrets that will transform your understanding of this blockbuster masterpiece about sacrifice, heroism, and humanity's fight for survival. The film that almost never blasted off. What most fans don't realize is that Armageddon was green-lit only after the surprise success of Independence Day proved that audiences would embrace large-scale disaster films with ensemble casts and patriotic themes. Studio executives initially feared that a movie about drilling into an asteroid would be too complex and scientifically technical for mainstream audiences. Bruce Willis revealed years later that the role of Harry Stamper required him to balance blue-collar authenticity with heroic leadership. Harry had to be believable as both a rough oil driller and someone capable of leading humanity's most important mission. The character needed to feel like a real working-class American who could rise to extraordinary circumstances. The casting challenged typical action hero stereotypes by emphasizing practical skills over military training. Ben Affleck disclosed that the film's father-daughter relationship provided emotional weight that elevated the material beyond simple disaster spectacle. The story worked because it was really about family, sacrifice, and what people will do to protect the ones they love. The asteroid was just the mechanism that forced these characters to confront their deepest fears and highest aspirations. Liv Tyler noted how the film's multiple storylines required careful coordination to maintain emotional coherence. We were filming separate missions, personal relationships, and global destruction simultaneously. Every character had their own arc that had to contribute to the larger story about humanity coming together to face extinction. The ensemble approach created multiple entry points for audience emotional investment. The asteroid that threatened everything. The Texas-sized asteroid wasn't just a disaster movie threat, it was Michael Bay's vision of an extinction-level event that would force humanity to confront its mortality while demonstrating both our technological capabilities and fundamental vulnerabilities when facing cosmic forces beyond human control. The asteroid's composition and behavior were designed to create maximum dramatic tension while maintaining some scientific plausibility for the drilling mission's feasibility. We needed an asteroid that was large enough to threaten global extinction, but structured in ways that would allow drilling and nuclear detonation to potentially work, disclosed scientific advisors. The rock's internal structure had to support both the threat and the solution. The decision to show the asteroid's approach through multiple impacts and near misses created escalating tension while demonstrating the global scope of the threat. The preliminary strikes on New York, Paris, and Shanghai showed audiences that no place on Earth would be safe, noted production designers. The damage had to feel real and devastating without overwhelming the main story. The asteroid's portrayal as an almost living, malevolent force reflected humanity's ancient fear of cosmic destruction and our small place in an indifferent universe. The rock becomes a character representing everything beyond human control, revealed Bruce Willis. Fighting it required the best of human courage, ingenuity, and cooperation. The asteroid embodied existential threats that no individual nation or military could defeat alone. NASA's impossible mission. The space agency's decision to recruit civilian drillers rather than train astronauts to drill wasn't just plot convenience. It was the film's exploration of how expertise, experience, and practical skills might matter more than formal credentials when facing unprecedented challenges that require specialized knowledge. Billy Bob Thornton disclosed his interpretation of NASA Administrator Dan Truman's desperate leadership. Truman represents institutional authority, forced to make impossible decisions with inadequate time and resources. He has to balance scientific protocols with practical necessities while managing political pressure from multiple government agencies. The character embodied leadership under extreme pressure with global consequences. The film's portrayal of NASA's capabilities and limitations reflected both admiration for space program achievements and acknowledgement of bureaucratic constraints that might hinder rapid response to genuine emergencies. We showed NASA as competent but constrained by procedures that weren't designed for extinction-level emergencies, noted production team members. The crash course astronaut training sequences provided both comedy and genuine insight into the complexity of space travel and the dedication required for dangerous missions. The training montages showed that space travel isn't just about courage. It requires technical knowledge, physical conditioning, and mental preparation that most people can't imagine, revealed cast members. The sequences demonstrated respect for actual astronaut training while highlighting how desperate circumstances might require unconventional approaches to space-based missions and crisis response. Harry Stamper's blue-collar heroes. Harry's drilling crew weren't just supporting characters. They represented different aspects of American working-class culture and the diverse skills, personalities, and backgrounds that might be necessary for humanity's most important mission while challenging stereotypes about intelligence and heroism. Steve Buscemi's portrayal of Rockhound provided both comic relief and genuine expertise, demonstrating how unconventional personalities often possess crucial technical knowledge. Rockhound represents the brilliant but unstable genius that exists in many specialized fields, Buscemi disclosed. His psychological instability doesn't diminish his professional competence or dedication to the mission's success. Will Patton's Chick brought personal problems and family responsibilities that grounded the cosmic stakes in human-scale concerns about providing for loved ones and fulfilling personal obligations. Chick's gambling debts and relationship issues showed that heroes aren't perfect people. They're flawed individuals who rise to extraordinary circumstances, Patton revealed. Michael Clark Duncan's Bear embodied physical strength and loyalty that provided emotional support for team cohesion under extreme stress. Bear represented the importance of friendship and mutual support during impossible challenges, Duncan noted. His character showed that heroism isn't just individual courage, it's collective solidarity and willingness to sacrifice for others. The diverse crew demonstrated that saving humanity required multiple types of expertise, backgrounds, and perspectives working together rather than relying on single heroic individuals or homogeneous teams. Grace and AJ's love story. The romance between Grace Stamper and AJ Frost wasn't just emotional subplot. It was the film's exploration of how personal relationships provide meaning and motivation that transcend individual survival instincts while creating connections that make life worth preserving during existential crises. Liv Tyler revealed her approach to playing a character whose personal happiness depended on global survival. Grace represents everyone who has something precious to lose if humanity doesn't survive. Her love for both her father and AJ gives her personal stakes in a mission that affects everyone on Earth. The character made global destruction feel intimate and personal. Ben Affleck disclosed how the love triangle between Grace, AJ, and Harry created emotional complexity that elevated action sequences. The relationship dynamics weren't just romantic drama. They were about family, loyalty, and the different ways people express love and commitment. Harry's protective father instincts conflicted with Grace's right to choose her own happiness. The characters' separation during the mission created genuine tension about whether personal relationships could survive global catastrophe. The deep impact competition that changed everything. The simultaneous production of Armageddon and Deep Impact created unprecedented competition between similar disaster films that forced both productions to differentiate their approaches while racing to reach theaters first. What the cast revealed about this rivalry shows how creative competition influenced both films' development and marketing strategies. The decision to emphasize action spectacle over scientific accuracy was partly influenced by the need to distinguish Armageddon from Deep Impact's more realistic and somber approach to asteroid impact scenarios. We knew that Deep Impact was taking a harder science fiction approach, disclosed Bruce Willis. Michael Bay decided to focus on emotional intensity and visual spectacle rather than strict scientific plausibility. The film's different release strategies. Deep Impact arrived first, but Armageddon dominated summer box office, demonstrated how marketing and timing could affect audience reception of similar concepts. The competition made both films better by forcing us to sharpen our unique selling points, noted production team members. The rivalry influenced casting decisions and budget allocations as both studios sought to secure the biggest stars and most impressive special effects for their respective projects. Everyone knew that audiences would compare the films directly, revealed cast members. The special effects that redefined destruction. Armageddon's spectacular destruction sequences weren't just visual entertainment. They were Michael Bay's attempt to create realistic portrayals of global catastrophe while demonstrating both humanity's vulnerability to cosmic forces and our capacity for technological response to existential threats. The film's combination of practical effects and digital technology created destruction sequences that felt both spectacular and plausible to audiences familiar with previous disaster movies. We used real explosions, miniature models, and early CGI to create impacts that looked convincing while being safe for actors and crew, disclosed special effects supervisors. The hybrid approach made the destruction feel tangible rather than purely digital. The space sequences required unprecedented coordination between multiple effects teams working on asteroid surfaces, spacecraft interiors, and zero-gravity environments. Every space scene had to feel authentic while being dramatic, noted technical directors. We studied actual NASA footage and space physics to make the mission sequences believable despite their compressed timeline and dramatic liberties. The film's portrayal of global destruction, from meteor showers to tidal waves, was designed to show worldwide impact while focusing on recognizable landmarks that would resonate with international audiences. The science that divided critics and audiences. Armageddon's scientific liberties became a source of controversy among critics and scientists who criticized the film's implausible physics while audiences embraced the emotional story despite technical inaccuracies. What the cast revealed about balancing science with drama shows how they prioritized emotional truth over scientific precision. The decision to drill into the asteroid rather than deflect it was based on dramatic requirements rather than scientific feasibility. We knew that drilling and detonating nuclear weapons inside an asteroid wasn't the most realistic approach, disclosed scientific consultants. But it provided the personal stakes and heroic sacrifice that the story required for maximum emotional impact. The compressed timeline for the mission, 18 days from discovery to impact, created urgency while ignoring the years of preparation that real asteroid deflection would require. The timeline was dramatically necessary but scientifically impossible, noted production team members. Despite scientific criticisms, the film's emphasis on international cooperation and technological innovation reflected realistic approaches to global threats. The sacrifice that defined heroism. Harry Stamper's decision to manually detonate the nuclear device wasn't just dramatic climax. It was the film's ultimate statement about heroism, sacrifice, and what makes life worth preserving when facing extinction-level threats that require ultimate personal sacrifice for collective survival. Bruce Willis disclosed his interpretation of Harry's final choice. Harry realizes that saving humanity means he won't see his daughter's future, but that future is more important than his individual survival. The sacrifice represents every parent's willingness to die so their children can live. The character's death provided emotional weight that elevated the action sequences into genuine tragedy. The decision to have Harry take AJ's place in the sacrifice represented reconciliation between generations and acceptance of AJ as worthy successor and son-in-law. Harry's final act shows that he trusts AJ with both the mission and his daughter's happiness, revealed the actor. Watch the film again with appreciation for its groundbreaking special effects, its influence on disaster movie storytelling, and its celebration of working-class heroism and international cooperation in the face of extinction. Notice how every explosion and emotional moment serves the larger themes about what makes life worth saving and who deserves to be called heroes. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into action cinema's most explosive achievements. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads, and let us know in the comments whether you would volunteer for humanity's most dangerous mission. I don't want to miss a thing.